young musician that I coached, violinist, he's now a young man, he's a professional, and there was a job opening that I was quite keen to try and win, and he won it. So there you go.
To be able to be a part of this organization has been a real dream. I've followed it since back when Vincent Chikowitz, a former member of the Chicago Symphony trumpet section, was the trumpet coach. Part of the biggest responsibility of being here at the NYO Canada is living up to his legacy, what he did for brass players, not just trumpet players at the time, but the brass players, coming from the legacy of the Chicago Symphony brass section.
The important thing about the National Youth Orchestra, of course, is that it is right from coast to coast in Canada. There are members of the orchestra who are in each province. It, like the CBC in Canada, is what joins this country together.
As a faculty member, if I can start giving back to some of those, the next generation of Canadians who want to love and play music, it can help start paying back that debt that I have to NYO.
Barbara Smith, first of all, you know that all the details are going to be looked after. You know that the fundraising is going to be there. And she allows she trusts the faculty to do their job the way they feel it needs to be done in order to train these young musicians to the very, very best of their ability. Yeah. Right. If you were to do it without the left hand.
When someone plays a good piece of music on the list, and they go on to the next, and you think, okay, maybe this person's got what it takes. It's really exciting to then add them to the list of what I like to call your team trumpet, the 4 people that come and join us for the summer. When they see us acting so collegially with each other and friendly, it makes them realize that this is a very small world and a very small universe in which they work. And as we always try to instill in them, in their behavior, you know, be nice, be a good person, and it'll get you a lot farther. You can be the best player in the world with the best chops and the best abilities, but if you don't get along with others and play in the sandbox well, you're not going to work well.
Being 1967, that was the year of Canada's centennial. So I had 2 goals. One was to get my graduation ARCT diploma from the Royal Conservatory, and the other was to get into the NYO. And now I am on the other side of it, 50 years later, and I feel that it is our duty as professional musicians who have devoted our lives to this profession, that we inspire the musicians of today to do the same thing.
You know, one of my goals being an instructor at NYO Canada is to build an esprit de corps within the horn section, to have them understand that they are a team within the orchestra, and I try to build the identity of sound and how the sound that they make identifies them as the NYO Canada horn section, and building a pride around that, I think develops into, you know, one of the great things about NYO Canada is it's always better than the sum of its parts by the end of the summer. I mean, even all these years in, I'm amazed at where we begin, which is at a very high level, but then after the end of the session, the incredible sounds that are coming out of the orchestra, and it's because of this pride in themselves, pride in their section, and pride in the orchestra as a whole.
I'm here because the NYO changed my life. When I played here as a bass trombonist in 1982, and again with a brass quintet in 1984, and then in the orchestra in 1985 a second time. It was a life and music-affirming experience for me. It taught a level of excellence and attention that I had not experienced prior, and opened up a world of community as well.
Well, one of the things I think is really great about the National Youth Orchestra now is that it's not just orchestra, it's a whole pile of different things. For example, today I spent part of my morning coaching a violin duo playing Prokofiev sonata together. I spent a little time rehearsing a Lou Harrison violin concerto with students and faculty involved together, collaboratively. It's a unique place.
I feel my 3 summers with the NYO were probably the most important times in my orchestral training and really my musical training.
just let it go like pause.
That time is really critical for a music student because we've started our training and a lot of the basic technical work has been done. And you need colleagues who are at a level with you or maybe even a little stronger. You need mentors, both on your instrument and on other instruments, to tell you the things you didn't know you needed to hear. You need great conductors to show you what can be brought out of the repertoire that you already know. And you need a great orchestra so that you can feel what it is to sit on a stage with 100 people and create something amazing, and to create it at a level that is really a professional level.
I remember so clearly when I was a young lad of 17 in the 1960s and was a member of the National Youth Orchestra. And in those days, they brought people to the session in Toronto on the train. When the train started out in Vancouver, some poor lad or lass would get on, and then as it worked its way across the country, at each stop there'd be more musicians. At one point, I distinctly remember traveling in northern Ontario, and the conductor opened up the baggage car so we could go into the baggage car and play chamber music as the train rolled through northern Canada. I don't think it can get any more Canadian than that.
What I love about NYO is that they're always looking forward. You know, they're really trying to figure out, what does it mean to be an orchestra in the 21st century? They're willing to embrace challenges and risks. They're willing to do stuff that no other organization in this country is doing. For example, the Unsilent Project, where we took this amazing group of musical talent drawn from across the country and paired it with amazing Indigenous talent from across the country as well. And we put them together and we said, what can we create together?
Having the setup the way it is, where we work first just as an oboe section, and then eventually I listen to them playing in a wind sectional, and then they move on to the full orchestra, and I'm in the audience for all of this, is a unique situation.
The reason I come back year after year is because of the system that we use when we teach. Right from listening to their audition tape through this entire process, this is impossible to do at home. So this sort of setup is unique and invaluable to me as a teacher.
I think when I get up on the podium and start conducting, that's immediately obvious, that they've actually worked in their sections together, and I feel the quality is already kind of set there. Yeah. And my job then is to bring all that together, but that certainly wouldn't be able to happen. I couldn't possibly do that without the quality of the work that had been done before.
You know, working in chamber groups is a really good primer for orchestra playing. It teaches them to listen and to communicate, and the coaches have done a marvelous job of doing just that, teaching that and ensuring that they are well prepared.
I guess if I had to narrow it down to 3 things, it would be the students, the great orchestral repertoire, and the time that we have. I never dreamed I'd get the opportunity to teach at NYO. but when I was asked to do so, it was really a dream come true.